Hey, truth be told, Captain Ron here with Tony Sweet and Truth Be Told. Very interesting guest we've just stumbled across here at Contact in the Desert. We saw some other guys doing some interviews, and we went up and found out who they were. This is Chuck Fay, correct?
Hi. Yes.
Close?
Yes.
Chuck Fay. He is Mr. Art Bell, shall we say, from Hong Kong. They came all the way from Hong Kong to Palm Springs for this event, Contact in the Desert. That's a long way to come, Chuck.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to see you.
Salute to you.
Salute
Captain Ron.
Captain Ron.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Yes, come all the way from Hong Kong to Contact in the Desert. And
How do you like the heat?
Amazing. I lost a lot of fat every time I come to Contact in the Desert. By the time I get back home, my wife would say, "Oh, you look skinner. You look thinner."
I think I found it, Chuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, you lost.
Yeah. Anyway, I like it, and this is my third year, and I've been in Contact in the Desert since 2016. And the first year I came here because as a UFO freak, that's what they call, because I have my own sighting when I was 13.
Oh, you did? Great.
Yeah.
Was it in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong, with my dad and my both twin sisters.
Tell us a little bit about what you saw.
Yeah, I was 13 years old, and at that days, you know, I'm quite old now. So back then, those days, we don't have air conditioning everywhere. So after, I remember it's a summertime, and around 7:30 at night. After the dinner, then it's kind of hot. So everybody, me, my father, and both of my sisters, we all go up to the rooftop of the building, like 13th floor.
Just to cool off.
Just to cool off and
Gotcha.
get a chill, right?
Right.
And my dad would like to read papers on the rooftop. Anyway, the opposite side of our house is a mountain, and we playing, me playing along. I don't know what I did, just stupid around. And my sister, they both playing together. And one of my sisters suddenly pointing at the sky, on the opposite side, and then she yelled, "Oh, what's that? What is this?" And then we all look at the same direction. We saw about, it's a ball. It's a golden ball, orange color.
How big?
It was about the size of a car.
Wow.
But for people to easily understand, if you read, I don't know whether you have watched the comics, the Japanese comic Dragon Ball.
No.
Dragon Ball Z, no? Okay. Anyway, it's an orange ball with things moving in it. It's like you stir coffee.
Sure. Swirling.
Stir
Yeah.
a cappuccino, and then you see the liquids moving, merging inside. It's sort of like that, but it was about the size like a car, and it was floating, no noise, and it's turning on the top of the hill, on the mountain, and make about 3 or 4 turns, and then it disappeared behind a mountain.
Any noise?
No noise at all. No noise at all. It's quite close. If that is a helicopter, then we must hear the engine and the propellers. Anyway, I was kind of scared, and I dragged my dad's arm and said, let's go home. I'm not comfortable with that. But my dad said, well, something weird. Of course, we want to stay in and watch. And then after a few turns, then disappeared behind the mountain. And after that, I got hooked up ever since.
This is before everybody had a cell phone in their pocket.
This is way before I was.
Right, so that you couldn't get a picture.
I am about 50 years old, which is about 13 years old. That was about 30 years,
33 years ago.
Ago.
So that's what got you hooked, and since then you've been into the UFO thing and all
Ever
that.
since,
That's
yes.
excellent.
I cannot.
Well, Contact in the Desert is the premier event for that. You get a lot of these guys. Richard Dolan's here. A lot of these guys that study UFOs. These are the top guys in the world. Yeah. Probably worth a trip for you, huh?
Yeah, very. And I got a lot the first year, and I learned a lot from the second years. And you got chance to listen to the top level of researchers and investigators. Their information, the pictures, everything. It's actually blew my mind.
Let me ask you this, Chuck. What's the difference? What's the general feeling in China compared to the general feeling in America do you feel about UFOs?
Okay, that is something weird because people think China is a quite closed country.
Sure.
And of course, they will not let the UFO information flowing outside. But that's not right. I mean, the other way around, the China government is quite encourage the people to study UFOs.
Really? That's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, people may know in the communist country like China, you're not allowed to play ghost movie. You're not allowed to do anything about religion. But you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of study about UFOs. It was because they treat it as a technical subjects to study. That things is happening, so people should go to study. And I said that a lot of times because China have a lot of UFO research society everywhere in the whole China. Put in mind, this is a communist country.
Right.
You cannot simply just form a group. If you form a group more than 20 people, 20 members, then you'll be in trouble. But listen, there are more than 90, as I remember, 90 UFO society all over China.
Wow.
And they all approved it by the government.
Interesting. Does abduction come along with that, the alien part of it?
They have. We have a lot, like, as far as I remember, 5 most famous abduction cases. Slightly different to the abduction cases in the States or the other side, the other countries of the world, but probably I think it's about the culture. The culture is slightly different. In the other places, we always see the craft, but in China, abduction cases, the abductees flying together with the alien.
In without a craft.
Without a craft, like you watch Superman.
Okay.
Holding Lois Lane flying in the air.
Right.
A lot of cases like this. Probably it's because they don't have the concept of a craft.
Interesting.
They just know somebody flying up from the sky.
Well, they say that in America about the older cases, that some of the older cases were identified differently. We had Whitley Strieber on a little bit ago, and we were talking about, 1,000 years ago, they thought it was fairies coming from the trees, when in fact it may have been, they didn't know the terms to describe a craft.
Exactly.
And you're saying in China you think that still exists?
Yes, exists. It still exists.
Okay, so Chuck, you got, oops, did I lose something? No. Chuck, for 33 years you've been studying this. Yeah. What do you think the phenomenon is now?
What, you mean in China or the overall?
No. You've been studying UFOs and abduction for 33 years. What do you think alien abduction is? Do you think they're coming from another planetary system? Do you think it's interdimensional? Do you think these people are crazy? Where do you stand on it?
No, they're not, definitely not crazy, because I study abduction cases in Hong Kong myself. And the abductees, the lady, she was just a normal lady like everybody else, watching TVs and potatoes couch, what you guys say? Right?
Couch potato.
Potatoes, yeah. Sit there.
Tony, my co-host, is a couch potato himself.
No, you're not. I look more like that to you. But after the incident, and she changed completely in 2 years. She can, anytime you call her, and she will raise up and talks about like quantum physics and talking about cosmophysics.
And she says this knowledge was given to her through abduction.
She said, I mean, whenever she opened up the computer, the Facebook or whatever, the technology and also the knowledge is pushing her to read it.
That's fascinating.
Fascinating. And I saw her change completely.
So you think it's real?
I think it's
real. And
real.
What do you think the aliens are? Do you think they're from another planet, in a craft? Is it?
Well, I would love to believe...
These aren't easy questions, Chuck. Don't believe me. We don't know the answers.
Oh,
I'm just asking you what you think.
Well, I would like to believe they are from the other planets.
Yeah.
But
that's what I stand.
Yeah. That some people believe, but some people believe they're from like the other dimension or from the future.
That seems even harder. That's more of a leap.
The human from the future, they're from the other dimension or whatever. That is something. Well,
further leap.
I think it is possible, but I don't know how to explain that. But for me, I would rather believe they are from the other planet.
Interesting.
And I believe some aliens are friendly. Some of them are not that friendly. But what I strongly believe is the heart in your side, in my heart. If I am being a good person with a good intention, what I can contact is also positive. If I am a person with fame, think about fame and money and get famous and plan something negative, then whatever I can contact is also negative.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's what I have in mind.
Do you guys have in China, it's like here we have big famous cases like Benny and Barney Hill,
Yeah.
Roswell. You've probably heard of Roswell
Yeah,
even in
of
China.
course, yeah.
Now, do you guys have cases like that in China that are big, strong cases? Because I don't know of any.
Yeah, I have few cases. I cannot remember all the details.
Okay.
But I have two cases, the most famous abduction cases in China. Is one of them is a teacher, one of them is a farmer, and they both abducted. And one of the guy who abducted, I mean, like what I just mentioned, they both fly with the alien. Flying with both of the alien, holding their arm, holding his
No
arm,
craft, though.
like that, and fly to a forest. By the time they get to the forest, he saw a craft on the land, inside on the forest itself. So he fly to the craft, get in the craft. The craft itself is like a ping pong paddle, like a tennis paddle shape, big circle with a little handle like that. Once he get into the craft, he saw a young Chinese girl sitting in there, and he thinks he has an idea this girl is really sick. So the alien, what the aliens looks like is like, I put it this way, you remember the mask of the movie Scream.
Oh, yeah.
White face with long
Right,
hair,
big eyes.
but the eyes is not like that. The eye is circle, and the mouth is also circle.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what he remembered. And
Interesting.
they fly together to the craft, and get into the craft. He saw a young Chinese girl sitting in there. He thinks this girl is sick. So the alien direct him to sit behind the young girls, and put an arm on the girl's shoulder. No, the alien put the arm on the guy's shoulder and asked him to put the arm on the girl's neck and the back, about the backbone area, like here.
Okay.
And then after, like, sometimes he feel the energy flow from the alien and to the girls. And then after sometimes the alien bring him back to where he is. He was at home. And then he report this to a Beijing UFO Research Center. The funny thing is, the UFO Research Center sent somebody, an investigator, to investigate the whole cases, and he got body check, he got hypnosis checking, he even bring him to a police station to get a drawing done of the young Chinese girls, because they want to find out whether these young Chinese girls have a real person like that. So they spend some time, and then they find this girl from another city, way, way far away. And the funny thing is, this girl, when they found this girl, and the parent of the girl said, my girls almost died last month. She's in real sickness, but she get everything recovered in just one night. Wow. And then they find out the girls have scar on the back of the neck and the back of the bone, the hip area, where he landed his hand on the girl's back, and they find a scar behind on the back of the girls. So this is
That's
one
a strong
of the,
case, Chuck. That's pretty.
It's a very
interesting.
strong case, but you have to remember one thing. The drawing he did is by the police department. The hypnosis, the body check is by the military hospital. So you can imagine all this UFO study by the Beijing UFO Research Center, they actually approved it by the government.
That's fantastic. Different than we would think. We would not feel that way. Now let me ask you this, Chuck. If you're walking down the street, and I just walked up to an average person walking down the street in Beijing and said, hey, do you believe in UFOs and aliens? What would they say?
Well, some of them, I think some of them, they will say yes. In China, it's better. China people may not say, oh, you're crazy. But in Hong Kong, people will think, you're crazy nuts. But more and more Asian people, like China, like Hong Kong, like Taiwan, Japanese, more and more Asian people believe in the UFOs and the aliens.
It's growing here too, Chuck. We see it all the time, that the numbers are going up, going up, going up.
I mean, there's nothing you cannot deny.
We're like you. We've been looking at this for 35 years. I mean, yeah, and it's we have some really strong cases.
Especially the news, the New York Times news last year at the end of December.
$12 million, the Pentagon with the plane. You saw that there?
Yeah,
That's great.
We saw it. But the funny thing is, same here as the States. When the news announced that, And it seems like I'm the only one who get exciting.
Oh no, we were all excited about that. Listen,
in Hong Kong, people really care, even the news.
It proves they were lying to us about it.
Yeah.
That's what it proves.
Yeah, but
that's
don't
a
really
big story
about it.
It went away pretty quick here outside of this community, I would argue, right? I mean, people like us are into it. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God. People in the beginning were like, wow, but most people don't care enough about this subject.
Yeah, I think at least one of the craft fly real close and make an official land, then people will start to care about it.
Well, people need hard proof. We don't have enough of that yet, that some people are skeptical, they still don't believe. It's too much of a reach for them.
Yeah, I would put it this way, and things happen for a reason. If they don't believe right now, that's probably because we don't have enough, like what you said, we don't have enough evidence. But what if, you never know, what if, because the news, the press is already, in mainstream media I'm talking about,
sure,
the news is already pushing UFO real. We have, U.S. government have a department to study this. Look, folks, this is not fiction, this is real things. We did. They
don't spend $12 million if they're not serious about it, right?
Sorry?
They wouldn't have spent $12 million if it wasn't something.
Exactly. So I think people start to aware that UFO do exist, and I think more and more people trying to know more about what's going on, what's going to happen. So is alien a bad, alien a good? Are they going to help us? Are they going to destroy us? They have so many questions, then that is a good thing. At least they start to watch. At least they start to investigate and do their study themselves.
Awesome. All right, Chuck, so what do you guys think of the Contact in the Desert Festival?
It's great. Especially this year we can stay in the air conditioning.
Air conditioning is huge. Yeah.
Last year and the year before that, I have to go back to the hotel and take a shower.
Right.
And take a little nap.
Right. Yeah.
It's too hot out there.
Right.
I'd rather stay a little and then go out again. But this year is different.
What do you like the best about this? What are you getting the most out of?
The
conference. What do you like the most out of the conference? What are you enjoying?
Conference? Well, I like the conferences because everybody grouped together.
Right.
We can see a lot of speakers. I know some of them, and like a yearly event that I can meet up with friends from the States. When I walk in there and I saw people, they say, "Hey, Chuck and Chuck," I know them. I met them last year, the year before that, and we become good friends.
It's great.
And as always, I always keep in mind is as long as you're studying about UFO, as long as you're talking about UFO, you can make friends everywhere in the world, because everybody like me, probably you and some other guests in the event, they all wants to know the truth. That's
the bottom line. Truth be told, man. That's why count us on that list, Chuck. Tony and I are your friend. Contact us. Let us know what we can do to help you. We'll see you next year at Contact in the Desert, right?
Definitely.
That's going to wrap it up here for me and Chuck. We had a great time. It's fun hanging out here. It's fun learning about China, Hong Kong. How do they find you online, Chuck?
How to find me online? Oh, yeah. I have Twitter. I have Facebook. Just go to Twitter, search Chuck Fay. Chuck Fay.
Why don't you spell that if you can?
Cheuk.
Yep.
And then there's Fay is Fei.
Right.
And sometimes if you go to Twitter, you search Chuck Fay at Spooky Man.
He is a spooky man. I got to be honest about that.
Yeah. Or if you want to go to, if you speak Cantonese, if you can understand Cantonese, you are welcome to go to my website. Is mj13show.com.
It's funny, it's MJ13 because we have something here called MS13, and it's like a street gang.
Yeah, I know. But MJ12 is actually the Majestic 12.
Right. We talked about that with Richard Dolan 5 minutes ago.
At first, when I think about the program, I want to make a little jokes on this name.
That's a great joke. I got it right away. MJ13. I love it. It's a great idea. I think we saw somebody who was Area 52.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's great, too. It's very clever. That's going to wrap it up here for Captain Ron, for Tony Sweet. We are Truth Be Told.